gentlemen, welcome to the Comic Book Roundtable. I'm never gonna forget that. Do you swear your fealty to the Valhalla classic comic? Oh, welcome everybody. Welcome. I hope you guys have had a good Wednesday. It's hump day, and it has been one heck of a hump day. Thank you all so much for joining us. Good evening, everybody out there. We've got Leia Rose, we've got Penny, Claude Saline. What is up? FKHC 2005. What is up, my friend? How are you doing? Penny's like Clobby, giving Clobby
hey.
hug. She's giving Clobby
hey,
hug.
Clobby. Hey, Clobby. And Clobby says, hey, Penny.
Hello, Penny.
Hello, Penny. Project Cambrian is here. What is up, Project Cambrian? Good evening. Keely Chow, Roll Tide. Keely, Roll Tide, brother. How are you doing? Chris Persia, the wrench of wrenches, is here wrenching tonight. Thank you so much, my friend. It is good to see you. And hail to you, Leia Rose. So good to see you. Carlos Fish was one of the first people in here. Good evening, Carlos Fish. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Abestus was the first person through the door and says, been drinking, vision blurred, need bed. But Loki is awesome. Howdy, y'all. Howdy, Abestus. How are you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. You're doing well. You gotta let me know what you're tinkering with. You've got such cool stuff in your warehouse, kicking ass, taking names, making all kinds of. He's got a Klingon bridge chair.
Who does?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's got the Klingon bridge chair that's in a bird of prey. He's got one in his workshop.
Wow. Cool.
I'm not kidding.
Commander
and it rotates and everything.
Wow. He's Commander Krug.
Van the crew. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
No, that's Chang. My bad.
Maltz. Choi Chu.
Come up.
Maltz. Choi Chu.
Chardonnay.
Oh, he gets pissed too. He gets pissed when they blow up down one of the prisoners. It was a lucky shot, my lord.
Yeah,
pulls out his gun. Boom.
And he blasted him. Love it.
Oh, God. And his dog, his Targ.
Yes. The first Targ.
Such a good movie.
I love it.
Now I want to talk about Star Trek 3. Damn it.
I love that movie. I always talk about it.
I don't want to talk about Star Trek 3. Oh, I do too. And I can't believe some people don't like that. I love that.
I went like 15 times in 1984 over and over. That summer, our big go-to as geeks was like, what do you want to do tonight? Go see Trek 3 again? Yeah. Or sometimes I just want to go see Ghostbusters again? Yeah. Or want to go see Indiana Jones? Yeah. It was, we varied it, but we saw them all a lot.
We had just moved to Texas, and my aunts were like, let's go see Star Trek 3. My dad was on board. We all went and saw Star Trek 3. It's the first Star Trek movie I remember seeing in theaters. The very first one. I didn't get to see Wrath-Con until years later in the theater.
You were youngin'.
So I was a youngin'.
Someone was stealing the Enterprise.
That is.
Yeah. Kirk, this is the captain. How can you have a yellow alert in space dock? Sorry, go ahead.
Kirk, if you do this, you'll never sit in the captain's chair again. He's like, bitch, I'm Captain Kirk. Go, Sulu.
They cut that scene out, but yes, he was saying that. And he's thinking,
Captain James T. Kirk.
Yeah, Styles. That was the guy from Hill Street Blues. And of course, the name of the character from Balance of Terror. But yes, great scene. The whole the stealing of the Enterprise scene alone, it was beautiful with that music by James Horner. It was just a great scene.
I love the fact that they expanded on that when they explained that so the Excelsior's transwarp drive was based off of what happened to the Defiant. I'm not talking about the Defiant in Deep Space Nine. I'm talking about the Defiant in the original TOS.
The Constellation
Webb.
Constitution version.
Yeah, the Constitution version of the Defiant. So that was phasing in and out of space and subspace and all that. the readings from that are what they used to do the experimental transwarp drive. And that would have killed everyone on board if they would have gone into transwarp. So Scotty basically saved everyone on the Excelsior by stealing the computer chips out of the transwarp computer drive. I love finding out about that later. I'm like, oh my God, Scotty saved everybody again.
Was that in a novel, the novelization or something?
Yeah, it was in the novelization. So you get to hear more about the transwarp.
I don't remember
drive
that.
was in the Excelsior, the prototype.
Wow.
The fact that it was based on those readings from the Tholian web and how it would have killed everybody if they had gone. That's why it was a failure, and they replaced it with a updated warp drive.
Here, Doctor, I took them out of a transport main computer drive. Souvenirs from one sergeant to another.
But we're not here to talk about Star Trek. We're here to talk about the Fantastic Four movies. And Clobberin just said they made Fantastic Four movies.
Well, they had the title. They were called Fantastic Four movies.
Now you brought up.
Hey, Leia.
You brought up this 1994 movie. I had never heard of that until right now. I actually had to look that up. I was like, I don't remember a 1994 movie.
Well, really? Okay. Well, it didn't make theaters. Of course, the only way to have seen it back then is for there to be you'd find the video bootleg and tape at various cons.
Yeah, that was the only way to get it.
So it was never intended to be released and was made solely to maintain the film rights.
It was a copyright thing, and it was also, basically tax write-off. Avi Arad, who still is, unfortunately, I don't know how that guy's so working. And what a total, dirtbag. Working in Marvel, productions and stuff at the time with his buddy Stan. Avi had got together with Roger Corman and some other people, and Roger Corman was known for low-budget films, as I'm sure you're all well aware, right?
Yes.
But my favorite thing ever with his name on it was Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh, yeah.
As many as you may or may not know, this film was shot on an extremely low budget. And that's Alex Hyde-White, Rebecca Stabb, Jay North as I think Jay North or
Underwood, Jay Underwood.
Jay Underwood. Why am I saying North? Oh yeah, Jay North's a different dude. He was a Dennis the Menace. That's why. Yeah, Jay Underwood, who played the boy who could fly before he played this. He could fly in 2 movies, sort of. And I can't never remember the name of the dude that played Ben.
Michael Bailey Smith.
Okay.
Or Carl. It was either him or Carl Ciafalio.
And then it was, of course, there was the guy who played Dr. Doom was Robert Culp's son. Something Culp. I can't remember his son.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was the son of great actor Robert Culp. But I can't remember his actual name. So anyway, these actors, they went and did their job. Obviously, it was an extraordinarily low-budget movie with a stupid story. The casting's okay, they're fine. The costume's pretty cheapy. I always hated the white collar costumes and the light blue that Byrne gave them. I hate those costumes. But at the time, that's the costumes they were wearing in the comic book. So, and the thing looks more like Killer Croc, really.
He does not look. He looks angry.
He looks like Killer Croc.
Angry.
Well, Ben Grimm was always angry early on, but yeah, it has a dumb story. Instead of using the Mole Man as their first villain, it's a character called the Jeweler. But Dr. Doom is also in it. It's been a long time since I've actually watched it. People have weird rose-colored glasses before this film. But what happened was, Joseph Culp. There you go. These actors and such, they thought they were starting to be ads and things advertising the film in various trade magazines and geek magazines and comics and such. So they thought they were going to go on a publicity tour. They thought this movie was going to make it into theaters and all this stuff. Turns out it was not meant to, and they didn't know that. There's a documentary you can go watch. I believe it's called Doomed or Undoomed, Doomed or something, Doomed maybe. If someone will remember the title from a few years back that tells the whole story about this. It was common knowledge anyway, but the documentary does a great job, filling in all the blanks. They decided they were going to, once this is done, they were meant to destroy the film, erase it from existence. And one of the editors, one of the guys working on it, whatever company was editing for that, made a copy to preserve it forever because the people who made the movie weren't too happy with that. Let's just say. And the actors, again, to this day, are very upset about it. They have pretty interesting interviews with them in the documentary. They were upset because they just thought this was good. They didn't know they were participating in what was basically a sham. Bad movie or not, I mean, even an actor, I guess no matter what movie they do, they would expect it to be seen, I guess. So yeah, there you go. And from there on, I would just simply say this movie is not really supposed to exist, but it's out there. People see it all the time. And because of subsequent FF films that we'll talk about later, some of them see this through some rose-colored glasses that think it's so good. Wow, go back and watch it and make that determination yourself, I say. But anyway, but watch the documentary. I would recommend it.
All right, and the documentary is called Doomed, the Untold Story of the Fantastic Four 1994 film.
There you go. And I think, CC, you've seen it, right?
I haven't seen the documentary. I mean, I've seen the actual film.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, if you get a chance, yeah, do it. There you go. Thank you, Chris. So, yeah, that's 20 times more interesting than the actual movie.
Yeah, the untold story of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And again, I just put it in a nutshell. If you go watch it, what's fascinating to me is the way these actors, God bless them, they thought they were, they didn't like being used that way, and they were kind of pretty upset at the time that the movie was going to get a release.
Actually, Chris, the late 90s was probably the last time I was in a comic book shop until
recently, right?
5 years ago. About 5 years ago now, I started going back into I started going back into comic book shops because I was tabletop gaming.
Oh.
So I was looking for game stuff, and a lot of comic book stores have the tables set up in there where you can game now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was looking for, I think it was Star Wars Armada was the stuff I was looking for, and that's where I was buying it, was at comic book shops. And then I just started perusing again and started collecting older comics again.
There you go.
Rebuilding a collection. So I'd carried my comic book stuff around with me for years in totes. I had these totes. They weren't like long boxes or anything, but they were these plastic totes that I kept them in that way. Because I did used to smoke cigarettes. They didn't get stained or anything like that from cigarettes. I wanted to keep them sealed.
Gotcha. Yes, sir. Yeah, so if you get a chance to watch the movie for the funniness, it's interesting to watch, I guess. I don't think I've even bothered to watch it again in decades. I mean, like after it came, I watched it one time and I was like, "This sucks," and I never wanted to watch it again.
But Chris, you liked it.
What? You liked what?
Oh, not Chris. God, why did I say Chris? Because Chris Persia's thing. Classic. You liked it.
The Corman one?
Yeah.
Not really. No. It's not a good movie. It's not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. I like superhero stuff in general, so I'll watch it. And get a certain level of enjoyment in a way, but I'm not going to sit here and say that's a good movie. It's a piece of crap movie. But and like I say, I used to have it, a VHS copy of it, but I dumped all my VHS stuff back in like the late 90s, so I've never replaced it.
Yeah, I don't have any VHS. I think I've got some Robotech VHS tapes, and that's it. I think. Yeah. All right. So next movie. What do we got? Where did I put there we go. So let's go back. I don't want to see the unreleased movie. Let's go to 2005.
Yes, Sony.
Yay.
I mean, Fox. Sorry, Fox. Excuse me.
Now, Fox had bought up a lot of Marvel stuff at like almost fire sale prices because Marvel was in big trouble. And God, it's got such an abysmal rating.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna pull up. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do. Oh my God! Well, I don't need a big thing on Cyberpunk. I've got Cyberpunk. I don't need a big teaser.
An ad popped up there.
Cyberpunk. And then we got an ad for. Why do I have a thing for Avatar up there now? Okay, I'm just gonna add this. Oh, now play Avatar on your PS5. Yeah, we're not.
Oh no!
Got a little clip of the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, mixed bag that movie.
40 of 40. 40 on Metacritic.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag that movie. I have a lot of shall we say issues?
Someone gave it a 10. Holy shit. The Harper booped. I can't say that. Business something. The business. Casting is brilliant. Great chemistry and jokes and comedic moments when it's called for. Chris Evans, Hamish Linklater, Lone Grufford, Jessica Alba. Chickless I loved. Okay, so Chickless I loved. I wasn't sold on Evans. I didn't even remember that Evans was the Human Torch when they did Captain America. Someone had to point that out to me. I was like, holy shit, I'm only watched this movie once.
I have I watched it back, of course, like you did back when it first came out. Then a few years ago, I decided to give both those movies another look, a year or two ago, or whatever it was, just to reevaluate them or whatever. First of all, Grufford, how do you say his name? I think he was pretty good.
It's Gruffith.
Gruffith. Okay. Yeah. I thought he was pretty good. Of course, Jessica Alba. Look, I'm gonna be a dude about that. She's just a cutie, and so it's fine. She's great.
Oh yeah, Sue Storm.
As much as I do love the character Sue Storm, I mean, she was okay, and the movie's been better. Evans, I love. He's my favorite thing in the movie. I think he's perfect for Johnny Storm. You could not have cast him any better. He plays him absolutely to a T from the comic book. Chickless, however, as you know, who my favorite character is, right?
Yeah, and Grimm.
Chickless,
that's your guy.
Great actor. All right. Well, Chickless is a great actor. Let me let that go first. However, Benjamin J. Grimm is not some dumpy old middle-aged dude before he becomes the Thing. He's the look at Grufford. Grufford's kind of he should be around the same age as the guy playing Reed first, always, and secondly, big, tall, muscle-bound dude who was like the big man on campus. He was a football player before he became a test pilot and a war hero and all that kind of stuff. Not some dumpy. In other words, Chickless is like, yeah, I mean, once you have him maybe doing the voice of a CG thing or something like that, probably a pretty good idea because of his acting talent. But as far as Ben, when he's Ben Grimm in that body, he, part of the point is this is a guy that had everything, all the looks and all this other kind of stuff, and then he turns into a monster. So, it didn't work for me. I thought they showed a fundamental lack of understanding of the character of Ben Grimm, but nevertheless, you excuse some of it because Chickless is terrific in the role and he does a good job. So that's where I stand on the character of the Thing. I would have handled it differently. Dr. Doom, holy shite. That guy is a good actor. I have nothing against, but he is not. He is not. Not. There's an N, there's an O, there's a T. Not, O, and not with no K, an N. Not Victor Von Doom. Not. Awful casting. Guy did his best. They first of all didn't write Doom well either, and the origin, which the way they handle the origin of all of them getting their powers. Dr. Doom should not be with them getting powers with them on the stupid space station. I make allowances for the space station argument that I do not like it, but I understand that the Fantastic Four's origin is something that is almost stuck in the 60s, and if you don't do it as a period piece, you have to alter it, and I don't like that because I don't like Ultimates, and this has a lot of Ultimates trash in it. I hate Ultimates. The big Ultimate hater right here. But I do also understand that in modern days, it's tough to tell the origin in the precise same way that it was in 1961. So I understand, I just don't like it. And you still, even with that, Dr. Doom did not need to be on this damn space station with them. So I don't like that. The movie has entertaining spots and moments, but my biggest problem here, and then I'll let you talk. My biggest problem with the film, other than the things that I've mentioned, is that once they've achieved their powers, everyone Reed is treating their powers like an affliction, and they need a cure. Johnny's not, but in the comic, of course, Reed says, "Hey, we got these powers. This is great. We're going to use them to help mankind." But he doesn't want to help cure Ben. So curing Ben, that's one thing. But he's treating all of their powers like an affliction, and so they never really become quote unquote the Fantastic Four. The entire gigantic bulk of the film is spent with them not really particularly being the Fantastic Four. This is them just being people dealing with the troubles of their superpowers and their affliction, and Doom's little scheming, with the only exception being Johnny, who is, having fun with the powers. So that's a fundamental misunderstanding of the group, because this writer, and Tim Story's an idiot director, this movie needed a complete overhaul of the script, written by me, of course, and directed by me, of course.
Of course.
And every decision made by me, of course. So that's where I stand on that movie. And it goes double for the second movie, which the way they handled Galactus is just, I don't have to tell you how horrible that was. So that's me on those films. Hope that wasn't too bad.
Classic.
Okay, well, I think I like it a little more than Clobby does. Now, it does have problems. The big problem being Doctor Doom. They obviously just don't handle his character well. I do think that Julian Glover could have been quite good as Doom before his accident.
McMahon, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Sherry.
Did I say Julian Glover?
Yes, that's okay.
Sorry, yeah,
Julian Glover. He would have been a great Doctor Doom.
But like maybe if they had him do that, and then if they had done the normal Doom origin where he has the accident and gets scarred, then after that a different actor maybe is playing him in the armor. I think that maybe could have worked. But yeah, he's just not Doctor Doom. He's not Doctor Doom. He falls way short. But I think overall the Fantastic Four are cast pretty well. I think that Ioan Gruffudd, I already knew him. I was familiar with him because he did a series of movies for A&E.
Hornblower.
Yeah, the Hornblower movies.
He was good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good in those. And I was actually a big fan of The Shield at the time this came out, so I was excited that Michael Chiklis got to do this. And I think the Fantastic Four themselves were pretty well cast, and I think they actually did a pretty good job of capturing their characters. It's not perfect, but I do think they actually captured the sort of family dynamic amongst them pretty well. The antagonism between Johnny and Ben, and Reed being kind of clueless, and Sue, I think she's a little more of like a hectoring mother than maybe she should be, but it's whatever. And overall, I think it's a decent movie. It's obviously, I don't think great, but I do think it's better than it's generally. I think it deserves a little more love than it gets. The one thing I would note about it is how it feels very much to me like the character of Doom, they just kind of copy and pasted the Green Goblin from the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Because he has this thing that happens to him. Now, first of all, instead of being, this monarch in Latveria, he runs a corporation, just like Norman Osborn runs Oscorp. Then he gets these powers and he sort of goes off the deep end. And like Osborn, he's got this mask he keeps around his house, that he puts on. And
really quick, because he's leaving. Give me just 1 second. Psychodorp 9, brother. Thank you so much for that $20 super chat, brother. And he said they wanted us to hurry. Too bad the unit they picked to start with had every possible paint error. Think a trainee with Tourette's and a soccer riot. 2 hours, me and Andy, 4 hours and 3 attempts at paint. Ta-da. Thank you so very much for popping in after such a long and crazy day. Psychodorp 9, Skull brother, you are absolutely positively kick-ass, brother. Go ahead, Classic. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so I was just saying, yeah, he felt kind of lifted out of his character arc, kind of felt kind of copy and pasted from the Spider-Man movies. And but overall, I mean, I kind of like that first movie. I think it deserves a little more love than it gets.
Yes, I don't disagree with that entirely. There, classic. I don't hate it like I do. I've softened on it because of so many of the bad ones. And there are things as an FF fan that I watch while watching that film and go, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. So there are things I don't hate about it because of my love for the the FF. So I don't hate it either. It's just, man, it's just, I guess I'm just tough to please when it comes to the FF, and I don't like the thing's design either. That's probably one of the things I just like the most as well.
And also, kind of a little thing, I forget her name now, but the actress that plays the wife, that leaves Ben early in the film.
Oh yeah.
She, I forget that actress's name, but she actually wound up after this. She wound up being on the final season of The Shield, which was kind of funny. And she was on Walking Dead too, I think.
Yeah. That's right. And I can't remember the name either, but I know who you're talking about. I think I remember the name. Yeah.
Debbie McLevane.
Maybe.
Hold on, I'll pull up a picture.
She
it
played
said share this tab instead. I don't know why I just didn't click that. I swear the way they change stuff sometimes. Here we go. Her, the blonde.
Yeah. Laurie Holden.
Laurie Holden. Oh yeah, I met her at Dragon Con one year. She did the voice of the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, on the cartoon of the mid-90s cartoon. The really great,
really?
Yeah, second season was, of course,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when I first saw this, God, it might have even been. I think I've only seen this movie once. I was disappointed with the way they did Reed.
Oh yeah.
He has to go and kiss Victor Von Doom's butt.
Yeah, I hated that.
I would have never ever. I would have never seen Reed do anything like that. So that was completely out of character. Like, why are you guys doing this? Oh, it's to get you up into his space station so that can happen. I loved Michael Chiklis from the Commish and from the Shield. You brought that up, classic. I was like, the Commish is gonna be because I knew more as the Commish at that point than I did as who he plays in the Shield.
But it was Laurie Holden. It was a different actress. I'm sorry, but go ahead. I swore it was her. I met her once. Anyway, so go ahead. No, go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
So I liked Michael Chiklis. I wanted to see Michael Chiklis as the thing. I agree with Clobby. He should have been. They should have done his character better. He should have been. We've got to have you on this project. You're the one who has to do this. All-American hero, All-American football player. Ladies love him. Perfect life. And then he's turned into this thing, just like you said. That's the only part of it that I didn't agree with. Everything he does in the movie, besides that, I loved it. I had that. I had the same feeling when I was reading him in the comic. He's like, he's ostracized and he feels like I can't be normal like the rest of them, and I want this stuff off me, rip the rock off of me, and let me go back to normal. I loved all that. Chris Evans is Johnny Storm. Knowing more about Johnny Storm now, I agree with you on that one, Club.
Yeah, that's what. Look, when I heard he was going to play Cap, I was like, no, he's too Johnny Storm to be Cap. And then, of course, he did a great Cap. I didn't go, yeah.
Did an absolutely outstanding Cap, like the actor or not.
Yeah, he was a really real person. He's an idiot, but yeah.
And I mean, yes, Jessica Alba. All the
Jessicas from. She gets a pass. I mean, she's not exactly how I would cast Sue Storm Richards, but she gets a pass because she's Jessica. I admit it, being a dude.
But I didn't like the fact that she's in a relationship with Doom.
That sucks. Oh my God, I wanted to punch. Tim Story's a moron.
Yeah, that's what I didn't like. I wanted her to be Reed's girlfriend, and it's like they've got to do this. Oh, they broke up because he was too obsessed with blah 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 and yada yada. That was my big.
It's bad enough that that she's messed around with the Submariner, but not Doom.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I'll say this about Julian McMahon because our friend Sherry says she liked him as Doom. Actually, the look of the guy, his looks, Victor Von Doom should look like that. This like almost like perfect looking person who and the ego and all that stuff. I'm not sure. So maybe if they'd written Doom properly, he may have been okay. I don't know. You still thinking more of a distinguished type of an actor than that for a character like Doom. But the way they, first of all, from get-go, when I saw the film, I'm like, why is he even talking to Reed like this? Why is he running a company? Why is he some Norman Osborn type instead of Dr. Doom, the sovereign leader of his own country, already in his armor and everything, which he should be? And you could have still had, I don't know, McMahon or whoever, but automatically, so it's really not a whole lot to do with him. It's just the character was written badly from the get-go, and he's the worst thing in the movie for me.
I absolutely agree with that. So let's go to the really, really, really bad. Because again, I don't even think I finished this movie.
I saw it in theater.
I think I'm 99% sure I walked out and was like,
oh wow.
I left.
Oh,
I left.
man.
I don't remember anything about the Silver Surfer. I remember everybody was pissed about Galactus being a cloud. Is this where the cloud shit started?
Yes.
Where your enemy's a big cloud? Because I
Yeah.
am absolutely positively I'm just like, they did that with
Green Lantern.
Dormammu.
What?
They did that with Dormammu, and they did that with
Yeah,
Green Lantern too.
But at least you can see
Parallax.
Dormammu's face, though.
Parallax.
They did show Dormammu's face in the the Doctor What's Strange film. At least. It wasn't like he was totally a cloud, though. This and Parallax. Oh, God. This is so stupid. But it's beyond the cloud problem, okay? Yes, the cloud was idiocy. There was such an incomplete story. Again, some of this silly stuff was FF type humor that was kind of funny, the way Johnny and Ben fight, But at the end here, when for some reason Dr. Doom becomes Super Skrull powers, he has Super Skrull powers. He doesn't become a Skrull. And the Silver Surfer has no personality in this movie. That's another thing. He barely talks. I know he's Lawrence Fishburne, right?
Fishburne did the voice. I think it's Doug Jones.
Doug Jones did. Well, he did the physical acting, but I'm talking about the voice. So, but he doesn't even talk much. And so, just putting aside for a second the way that Galactus may as well not even exist in the movie. We learned nothing of the Silver Surfer's personality or his origin really in this movie. Or if he do, they gloss over it really quickly. Now it's tough to remember because this movie's not very memorable. But he's basically just flying around, and turns out he wants to save Earth, and we don't know why, because he doesn't give you much of a good reason why. But I'm gonna run past all of that stuff and go to the big comic book geek moment. At the end, when he finally decides to help and to save the Earth from Cloud Galactus.
Cloud Galactus.
The whole time he said, Galactus is coming. He's going to wipe everything out. In fact, let's go ahead and give them, for the moment, benefit of the doubt. Galactus is so powerful, he doesn't even have to take material from him, just be a cloud because he feels like it. He's Galactus. Who's going to tell him not to be a cloud, right? If that's the case, when the cloud's about to engulf the Earth or destroy the Earth, guess how Silver Surfer stops him? What do you remember how?
No, I never saw the end of the movie.
He flies into the Galactus cloud, and then it's over.
That's
over.
That's very boring.
It's so boring because, wait a minute, when you're watching, going, wait a minute. So how did he beat Cloud Galactus? I don't know. Look at it. Well, how did he do? Well, he just flew into him, and Galactus said, "Well, shucks, guys, you go. I guess I'll let you guys live, and I'm leaving. I'll know what I'm not wanted to. I just won't eat your lousy planet. How about that? Harumph, harumph. I'll take my Silver Surfer and go somewhere else." Okay. Could you explain to me how the Silver Surfer could defeat Galactus? I mean, as a comic book geek, I want to know how can he beat the being that created him and gave him the powers? How? Oh, just shut up and eat your popcorn. Okay. Movie over. Well, yeah, but this thing was about to engulf the earth. He was about to eat the earth, right? And this other silver guy, let's talk like normies who don't know. So the silver guy flew up into the cloud, saved the planet. They don't know. But a comic book geek goes, wait a minute. Galactus created Silver Surfer. How could he beat him? Well, you see, he shut up and eat your popcorn. There's no explanation, not even the slightest one. Even in the stupid Green Lantern movie, they sort of explain what happened with Parallax. He just looks stupid because he was a cloud. They don't tell you how Silver Surfer defeats Galactus. He just flies up inside of him and it's over. Like, all right, we've been here 2 hours. What else do you want? Did you like your popcorn? Good. Shut up. Don't whine about it. Go home. It's this piece of crap. But it is a masterpiece compared to what we're going to be talking about. So.
Classic. What do you think?
It's a step down from the first one. And yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing with Galactus is just such a big letdown. It's very disappointing. I mean, most of Clobby's complaints I would kind of argue with. I think I liked Silver Surfer in it better than he did. They don't get into his origin.
He didn't have any personality, though, did you think?
I mean, not a whole lot. I think they were trying to make him kind of like this sort of, I don't know, sort of Zen kind of character, but I think it comes across just kind of aloof and maybe, like you say, kind of no personality, rather.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were things I liked. I did like the power switching. That's an old,
that was funny.
Fantastic Four trope.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah, I like that.
So I would say I would agree. I like it. I think it's not as good as the previous movie, but I do think it's better than the movie. Like Clobby said, it's better than the movie we're about to do. It's kind of like at the bare minimum of what I'd find acceptable, I guess.
Fair enough. Listen, Claude. Silver Surfer released all of his stored energy into one big blast towards Galactus. If that helps you sleep, okay. Silver Surfer can beat the guy that created him, who imprisoned him on Earth, and who's like, Silver Surfer's supposed to be like a gnat compared to Galactus, right?
Right.
But okay, he could beat him by blasting him. Peter David wrote a terrible adaptation where he identified Galactus as Galactus. That is what? Did he do like a movie novelization or something? Peter David wrote a lot of movie novelizations. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Galactose intolerant.
So, like I said, I walked out of this movie. I never bought it. I never had it, and I was like, I want everything. I had the Captain America movie, the one that never came out. I had the Captain America movie poster on my wall that said "coming soon to theaters," and it came out on VHS tape. Never made it to theaters.
You might want to get the Blu-ray of this one if you can find, or the DVD, because if you can find it dirt cheap, because it does have a great Jack Kirby documentary on it, on Rise of the Silver Surfer. On DVD, if I'm not mistaken, let Claude can verify that. But one of them has a really cool documentary. Of course, you can get it. You probably see it on YouTube at this point. But anyway, go ahead.
I will have to look that up. If I get it on YouTube, I'll just download it.
Yeah, you can probably find it. There's a good one on YouTube. It might be the same one. I'll have to ask Claude there. He knows.
Claude Paris says Peter David wrote a terrible adaptation where he identified Galactus as Galactus. Dopey.
His real name is Galen.
Galen of Ta.
Galen of Ta, right?
Oh, there we go. Galactus was straight out of the Ultimates run. That explains it.
Well, that explains it. Screw Ultimates in the face. I hate them.
So I walked out of this movie. I couldn't watch it. It was that bad. I don't walk out of movies. It's gotta be bad. I sat through Titanic, for Christ's sake.
Oh,
yeah, I fell asleep 3 times and the boat was still sinking. But even then, I sat through it. For me to walk out of a movie, I've got to be like, it's got to suck. So I almost walked out of Last Jedi. I almost did. When she ran the ship, I was like, why didn't just one of the X-Wings do that to the Death Star? You don't ever have to Did you guys not think of this? You don't ever have to like hit the secret exhaust port or any of that. You just go to light speed through the Death Star with a fighter. That negates all space stations, combat, all of that. You just fly through the damn thing at light speed. Why do anything? You don't even have to have manned ship. You just have a drone that has a light speed engine, and you just send the drone up to it and have it go to light speed. Never have to do combat ever again. It negates everything. So anyway, I'm not going to spend an hour talking about how bullshit The Last Jedi was. And that's just the light speed thing.
Yes.
So anyway, the point is, it's bad. But
yeah,
from what everybody says, give me just a second, I'll bring this up. It is not this bad.
It's a special kind of bad. Well, I don't know. Disney might be getting ready to say, "Hold my beer," but that's going to be quite a beer.
From the producer, from the studio that brought you. It's not even the producer; it's the studio, right? So they couldn't even say anything better than "Come see it," because we gave you Days of Future Past. I want to tell you something. I watched Days of Future Past the other day, and all in all, it's a serviceable adaptation of the comic. It's serviceable. It's a movie I can watch. Okay. Is it just like Days of Future Past? No. Is it about halfway there? I don't even know if it's that, but it's good for what it is. Everybody was excited to see Patrick Stewart come back. Everybody was excited to see Magneto come back. All these OG people, and they used Wolverine as a whatever medium to communicate with them. But seeing Patrick Stewart as Xavier talk to his younger self, that's one of my favorite X-Men moments of all time in film. I thought that was really cool. When he's sitting there talking to him, he's like, look, I know what you're feeling right now, but there is hope, and you are going to do something that is absolutely worth all this. You're going to be able to deal with this. I love that because you get that inexperienced Charles Xavier talking to the one who's been through all this shit and lived through all this shit and is like, he's, we're not worthy to be in your presence, Professor X, kind of thing. Anyway.
Yeah. I didn't like that one too much. It's been a while since I've seen it. I saw it once. You know why I saw it?
Why?
Because it was bad weather the night my son and I were trying to go home, and the weather was so bad we couldn't get to our neighborhood because it was flooded. So it needed the water to drain off. So let's go sit in the movie. We don't like that. There's nothing playing. It's an X-Men movie playing. Yeah, but there's nothing playing because it's an X-Men movie. I don't like these X-Men movies, but we went and sat through it. And,
I loved 2. I loved X2.
Did you?
I thought X2 was great. That, yeah. I hated 3, but I thought they were fixing everything. We're gonna get into X-Men eventually. Trust me, and we'll talk about the movies. The movies go into we fixed this huge mistake we made with the 3rd movie, and then we went into Logan and we made all the same mistakes all over again. Thanks, fuckers.
Yeah, I hate Logan.
Did you read the comic book?
No, of course
not. The comic book's 10 times worse.
Wow, good to know.
So, did you know about the banner thing?
I don't know if I do or not.
So, Bruce, who is now Hulk 24/7, traps his cousin and She-Hulk. Yes, She-Hulk. And literally tells her, you're the only one who can take it without breaking. And has babies. Has like hee-haw babies with She-Hulk.
Yeah, they're cannibals or something like that, right?
Yeah, they're cannibals. They're inbred. They're all stupid, and they're called the Banners. And it is the worst. I could not believe that. This is someone's sick ass. It's
Garth
someone's. Yes.
Well, Garth Ennis. Well, there you go. That figures.
Yeah.
Does it lead to the road? Him being the maestro, or no?
Nah, it's like a separate
Yeah.
continuity, I
Okay.
think.
Well, you don't get more. You don't get much more hateful than Garth Ennis, except for some Warren Ellis stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
he does
bad.
a lot of that stuff. Just it's like shock value just for
Like
shock
Punisher
value.
kills the Marvel Universe, for example.
There's one scene in that book I really like, and it's still a screwed up scene, and that is the Red Skull killed Cap. Red Skull kills Cap and becomes president of the United States, and he's got like a trophy room with Iron Man's suit in it, and Doctor Strange's cape, and Cap's shield, but he's
He
wearing
ripped that off.
Cap's. He's wearing Cap's outfit. And Wolverine fights him and uses Cap's shield to decapitate Red Skull. And he's like, "This is for you, Cap." And I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that. I don't like the fact that all our heroes are dead and that they've twisted everything so bad that and I hate what they did to Wolverine. I absolutely hate it. It's like, oh, why doesn't Wolverine want to pop his claws? Why doesn't this and that? Da, 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 da. Because Wolverine killed all the X-Men. Mysterio got into the mansion and made Wolverine see illusions and made him smell all these villains that broke into the mansion, and the kids are trying to get out, and he kills everybody. He kills all the kids. He kills everyone in the mansion. And then Mysterio pops up and is like, "Ha ha, I made you kill everybody," and disappears. And Wolverine wanders off and swears never to pop his claws ever again. It's the most screwed up thing.
That sounds almost as bad as Ruins.
It is bad. But the stuff with the Hulk was the worst. I'm like, you kidnapped your cousin and you forced her, and you had babies because she's the only one who
Marvel
can
Comics, ladies and gentlemen, the class of the industry.
So yeah, I own the trade paperback now. I'll never read it again. Thank you so much. But the movie isn't even as bad as that. So the book's worse than the movie. But I hate the movie too. I don't want to see Wolverine running after somebody and being like, not able to pop his claws. And yes, I understand Old Man Logan, yada yada yada, but that sucked. That whole movie sucked. That whole movie was just, hey, we're gonna give Logan's powers to a girl, yay! And it's really Wolverine with a period. Whatever. Anyway, back to Fantastic Four. This movie sucks. Just because you put X-Men Days of Future Past on it, which was what led us into the whole X-Men thing in the first place, does not mean a damn thing, because this movie sucks. And I'm sure there's someone out there right now, you're just saying that because they had a Black Johnny Storm. No, I'm not. Because I kind of like Michael B. Jordan, his work. I don't necessarily like him as a person. I hate what he did to Stallone in the last Apollo Creed movie. I would have personally been like, no, we're not doing this without Cy. Bring him in. We're bringing him in. We're not doing this. So, I mean, not like him as a person, but he's played some roles that I do like. Not this movie. This movie sucks.
It does.
Anything you can say, Globby, anything you could say about this movie?
Let's see here. I think the most creative thing about this movie is the logo. Fan 4 stick. Get it? Fan. The A, it's an A and a 4. Get it? I mean, of course, whoever designed that doesn't work for the idiots who made the movie, so that doesn't count, right? He's just an advertising person. So, still cute and clever, and it gave us forever the thing we get to call this movie Fan 4 Stick. So you got to love that. This piece of trash, because it's certainly not the Fantastic Four. I've talked many times, and I don't want to bore everyone here with the usual stories about how this was filmed down the street from me. I've told you that, right? Look, this movie was filmed I had to back in 2013 through about 14 or whatever when that trash was being puked out at these studios near down where like on the way to work every day. I had to pass the thing, and even delivered some stuff there a couple times, and yeah. But anyway, we'll go into that. Other than that was pretty rough. I did not walk into a movie theater to see this trash. The day it was released, I became a pirate. I went arg, I sailed the high seas because I wasn't going to go pay to see this trash. And boy, that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I did not need the aneurysm. But we knew from going in the casting was horrible. I mean, not even because like I said, the Fox movie casting for them, we've talked about it. There's certainly things to talk about there, but for the most part, it wasn't terrible. The casting here is absolutely there's no good casting in this movie. None. Because first of all, I don't care, Michael B. Jordan, whatever. Call me what you want. He's not Johnny Storm. Kate Mara, I know when we deal with the lady, she's a cute lady and all, or, maybe in another film she could have been, but really Sue would be older than that. This Miles Teller, yeah, he's Reed Richards when he's like 13, maybe. So no, he's not Reed Richards. And this pipsqueak playing Ben Grimm, like no and no. And wasn't there's a bit at the beginning that implies that it's Clobberin Time comes from like his brother beating him up all the time or some kind of horse hockey. Look at that wiener head playing Ben Grimm. It's like no. And this the nude thing is look, I don't like the chickless thing design at all. I can't stand it to this day. It's that, however, is way better than that mound of shite, which is what he looks like, a pile of poo-poo. Look at that guy. That's Ben Grimm. Yeah, sure.
What? That's Ben Grimm?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, Ben Grimm is 12 as a kid, yeah, but not Ben Grimm. That's again, they let this is even more. They're even younger than Ultimates. Again, she's no.
She is not Sue Storm.
No.
Tell me that is not Sue Storm.
No, none of them are the characters. They're all, and that's not Johnny Storm either. And then
she was in freaking what's that series?
He was the 24.
She was
in Iron Man 2.
Was she in Iron Man 2?
Yes, that agent that served Tony Stark with his some kind of summon political, like subpoena. Anyway, so she was kind of hot in that, by the way. She was hot in it. She's hot.
Well, if you want to see her in something hot, House of Cards season 1.
Okay, well, yeah, I heard she was in that. So, but the worst casting by far, and the worst here. You heard me complaining about the Julian McMahon version of Doctor Doom. Well, there's not even Doctor Doom in this. He's like Victor Von Doom. He's a blogger or some shite. This dope playing Doom. It's just they didn't even try. I mean, this is all horrible casting. But when he finally becomes quote unquote the bad guy or what in the film, because he goes to that plant, they go to some weird dimension and get these powers or what have you, or some kind of baloney. So his supposed Doctor Doom outfit consists of what looks like he's been wrapped in aluminum foil and wearing a garbage bag over his head. Like I mean, they didn't even try to have any kind of an outfit for him. Oh God, look at that! And when they all get their powers, Ben Grimm is used as a government weapon. The nude thing.
Why is he used as a government weapon?
Because the people who make this movie are morons. That's why. This is also kind of. I mean, they don't become to the very end. They don't finally end up team up, and they don't even have a scene at the end where they go, "Hey, could you put some damn pants on?" This is an incoherent mess. There's no story. There's not one redeeming quality to this movie other than maybe that it's short. I guess it's short. It doesn't feel short, but
my God.
I don't know if they actually used that design, but they may have at some point. It is one of the worst movies ever made, period. And it's not going to do almost nothing to do with the Fantastic Four. If you've never even heard of the Fantastic Four or don't give a shit about it, and you watch this movie, you're going to go, I don't understand what's happening. It's incoherent. It's dull. It's bad. It's truly, there he is. There's Toby
Cabell, yeah.
Cabell. You'd be hard to press to find a worse movie. And I'm not even saying it's anything to do with it. I mean, I almost don't care that it's a bad Fantastic Four movie because it's irrelevant. So they're not going to make a good one for me anyway. It's just fascinating how horribly stupid this movie is. And the idiot Josh Schenck, who directed it, was in town, but look at that. This asshead, they rented a house for him. The director, Josh Schenck, who, by the way, was abusive to the cast, according to what they said, he trashed a house that they rented to him to stay here while he was in it. And the guy, of course, was going to be directing one of those new Star Wars movies, which not many. Well, granted, we know what happened to all those anyway. He lost that job pretty quick. That's what you get, you idiots, when you hire a child who has no credentials. Schenck did some stupid movie called Chronicle. Well, it was a popular du jour treat of the day. Some people thought it was cute, so he got this job. Next time, maybe, and of course they haven't learned, have they? Hire an adult to direct your supposedly, it wasn't that big of a budget either. But if you're going to make a superhero property, maybe you want to hire an actual grown-up person to direct it. Just a theory. But no, there you go though. He's horrible.
Classic.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Clobby on this one. Generally with superhero stuff and just genre stuff in general, whether it's fantasy or whatever. I mean, like, there are plenty of movies from sci-fi or fantasy movies from the 80s that are crap, but
Sure.
But I enjoy them anyway, because I'm in the tank for this kind of stuff. Same thing with superhero movies. They're like that Daredevil movie with
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck in it. Not a particularly great movie. I like it anyway. Because generally what I'll do is I'll look and I'll say, well, if they just did this differently or that differently, this would be fine, or whatever. This movie, it really just doesn't have any redeeming qualities, like Clobby said. And the thing is, because I remember Josh Trank, after he made it, he made this comment at one point online about how there's this really good version of the movie, that unfortunately you'll never see because the studio cut this thing down to nothing, because it's like an hour and a half long. And I remember thinking, well, I mean, if you were going to add anything in, that's just going to make the movie long. And even at an hour and a half, this thing was a chore to sit through.
Yeah,
it really is a mess. And I think part of that is because, Clobby's thing is it was kind of like a write-off. They were just doing it to keep the rights. Kind of
same deal. Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, just with the Corman movie. They were just doing it. It was this quickie thing to knock out so they could retain the rights to the titles or to the IP. And there really wasn't much thought into making it good. Initially, before it came out, Trank was talking about making this kind of body horror thing. Like,
yes, he did. You're right. He did. Oh, I forgot about that.
And honestly, when I heard that, I was kind of intrigued. I was like, well, I guess that could be interesting.
I was throwing up when I heard that. It's not what the Fantastic Four should be.
Yeah, it doesn't work. And yeah, I mean, there's so little of it.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And like he says, they wind up working for the government. And it's like, why are they even doing this? And I don't know. And another thing is that, they did extensive reshoots on it. And Kate Mara, who plays Sue, she's normally got dark hair. She dyed her hair to do the movie, but then later they brought her back to do reshoots and she's wearing a wig, and it's so obvious that she's wearing a wig, and it's really, and the whole thing is just a mess.
Classic. Do you remember the scene where they're in this kind of a darkly lit somewhere in this bottom of this building, and it's Sue and Johnny, and Johnny bursts into flames. It's a really dark room, right? He bursts into flames, and the light just stays on him. I mean, it's so badly CG'd, they don't understand how fire works. and it doesn't like light the whole place up. He's still just standing there and it's dark all around him. I'm like,
I don't remember specifically, but I believe you.
it's just yes, sir. It's just bad though. I mean,
Yeah, and Doom is just like he said. I mean, it's so much worse than the Fox movies. I mean, or the Tim Story movies. I mean, they totally botched his character.
I almost walked out of that movie. And hi, everyone.
Hey,
Was
Hey,
thanks
after-
for having me
how
on.
you doing?
I'm
after
stuck at
walking
work
out-
shipping some last minute stuff for customers, but I figure it's 9 o'clock. I'll take a break and come on for a few minutes. Got everything
Mark,
almost packed. But yeah,
after walking out of that second after Fantastic Four 2, I didn't care. I didn't care to see it.
smart man.
this movie, I was like, should I walk out? I got to walk out. I knew it was based on the Ultimates again, which I can't stand. FF
Yeah,
Ultimate.
they borrowed from that version a lot.
Yeah, and they did that with the second movie. But at least the second movie, I like the first movie. I mean, it's not perfect, but as you guys were saying, they get the characters right. And I do like Chris Evans's, the interaction between Ben and Johnny. I think they capture that pretty well. Well, Chiklis is not good casting. He's, he's a good actor, but he doesn't fit as Ben. But you kind of can forgive it. But
Agreed.
it's a flawed movie. And then the second one, the Doug Jones is amazing as a surfer, but you're right, they don't get the personality correct. And then they do the Ultimate Galactus with the Cloud, which is the biggest letdown, as you were saying. So yeah, the second one was a downturn. They did, like you said, changing the powers and Doom getting that part. For a few seconds there, you're like, oh, maybe they do have Doom right, but then it just goes all downhill. And then Fan Four Stick, I'm like, I gotta leave this. Should I leave? This is so bad. And I own every FF, almost every huge run of FF and every FF Ultimate comic, even though I don't like it. And a few stories are okay, but it's just trying to make the group younger. It's just horrendous decision there. And God, that movie was just so. What an abject failure. I mean, what they did to Ben, as Clobberin Times was saying, was ridiculous. I mean, it was just I don't see how anything could have been added to that movie to make it better. Oh my God, what a mess. But the Daredevil movie, if you watch the director's cut, that's actually
you're always trying to get me to watch it.
I'll get you to watch it someday. But it's not great. And Stargirl, you'll watch Stargirl too, right?
Well, you know what? By the way, Mark and Loki and Classic, we forgot one interesting point of fact for our dear friends of ours were our buddies at Midnight's Edge After Dark. This movie got them started, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Fan Four Stick?
It's the one that
I did not
think
know
it's one of
that.
the first things that they got together and had to talk about and got to start the channel up. I don't know if it's the first thing they ever did, but they talk about how that and then Ghostbusters 2016 were a couple of things that got them launched as a big channel. I could be wrong about that, but I do believe Tom and Andre have talked about that before.
Interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but we haven't had a good FF movie, and I don't think we're gonna ever get one. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, Disney's probably saying we can't be worse than Fan Four Stick. Yes, you can.
I mean, could you imagine if
don't underestimate yourselves?
If they set the FF movie in the 60s and had them somehow the FF stuck in time and had a whole adventure in the 60s, retro look. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
It should be,
but they won't. I'm sure they won't do it. They'll infuse
Well, there are already rumors that Reed's going to be a villain. Reed's going to be the villain.
Oh, God.
And Sue will take over. And okay, so from what I heard, and I have no idea how much validity there is in this, it is Reed's going to be the villain. Reed's going to become a villain. He's going to die. Sue's going to kill Reed Richards. And they're going to bring She-Hulk on as his replacement.
All right.
Just shoot
from
me.
the She-Hulk show. And that's how she's going to get her in a movie, is she's going to be at the end where they're like, meet our newest team member, and it's going to be She-Hulk from the She-Hulk
Man,
series.
if they do that, that movie is going to bomb so hard.
So you're saying they do want to be worse than Fan Four Stick?
Well, I never saw Fan Four Stick, so
You're a lucky man.
You should watch it. In fact, I think you should make Eris watch it.
After 2, I mean, I walked out of a movie. I almost never do that. I mean, I have sat through some epping stinkers, and I've sat through some stuff where like everyone was leaving and I'm still there. When my dad took me to see Transformers the movie, I was like one of the only kids left after Optimus Prime died. My dad was like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, You want to sit here and stay? I want to see what happens." I was one of the only kids that didn't leave the theater crying. I don't walk out of movies, and I walked out of that second
Yeah,
movie.
I'm here. I'm with you.
So I just didn't. I was like, nope, I'm not
I've
gonna
only
watch
done
it.
twice, maybe or so. I walked out of movies. One was the '98 Godzilla garbage with Matthew Broderick.
But I mean, think
Yeah.
about it: 2 girls, 2 guys. 2 girls, 2 guys, and I guarantee one of the guys is going to be interested in other guys.
Oh, yeah.
It'll either be Ben or it'll be Human Torch. I can see them doing it. Oh, he's a flamer. I can see it doing it to
I hope
Johnny
so.
Storm.
I hope they do it. I want this to be the most, because we know they're not going to do it right. So don't half-ass it. Make it the worst, most horrifically dumb Disneyest shit ever. I'm rooting for this sucker to be so bad that I will just have nonstop laughter. Because again, it's better than being disappointed, and they can't disappoint me because that would mean I expect them to do something good. I don't expect them to do anything good with any of their characters anymore, much less the FF. My favorite. So I hope I don't want it to be just sort of not good or just kind of blah. I want them to go for it all, baby. I'm counting on you guys to do it all. I want this to be the worst, most embarrassing piece of filthy crap ever. And then I'll praise you guys to the high heavens. I might even go watch it just to laugh at it. It gives you money if you will make it a horrible stinker and just solidify my faith in you, Disney, that you are filthy trash that doesn't know what you're doing and doesn't understand these characters. You could do it, Disney. I believe in you.
They're gonna pull it. I guarantee you, they're gonna pull the read that we didn't read. Ha ha.
Yeah.
See what I did there? The read that we didn't
Pedro.
read. Yeah, it'll be the read that that joins Iron Man in Civil War. It'll be the read that is corrupted.
The Illuminati read.
The Illuminati read. It'll be that Reed Richards. That way they can make Sue Storm the hero. Down with patriarchy. Men don't rule, women rule, and then she brings another woman onto the team to fill in, and it's gonna be Shield. I believe that. When that leaked and I read that, I was like, I believe it. I believe that is very possibly going to happen.
I absolutely believe it. That doesn't mean it's necessarily true. It's just that when you can't shock me anymore. So when you say, for example, you can't tell me a joke like if you want to pull my leg and say, "Hey, they're doing this," and then that's for me. You made up something that sounded preposterous or really horrible. I'm going to believe. I said, well, that joke won't work because they might do that.
Yeah.
So that you can't even make a joke about it. Like, like you can't say Ben Grimm's going to be played by a 15-year-old black child, a black girl.
Chris is correct. That the article I read said they're going to turn him into the Maker, making him the Maker. So I'm pretty sure that's the name they gave, and I was like, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But it sounds like absolute ass.
The Maker is the ultimate version of
Ultimate
Reed.
That's right. Yeah.
I think he eventually became like a villain.
Yeah.
That's Ultimate, so I don't know much about
like a Nathaniel Richards type, alternate character,
Are they going to have the Council of Reeds, which is also stupid? Well, good.
Yeah, see, the Corman movie's looking better and better.
And there's the thing.
I bought the Blu-ray. There's a Blu-ray up. The Doom people put out they upscaled it. And I bought the Blu-ray from the Doom people because I was a backer of that project. So my name's actually in the credits. That project.
Doomed? Okay.
And Doomed, yeah.
We talked about that.
My real name is in the credits, yeah. And I mean, you're talking about earlier. It's a really great documentary, and those actors actually were paying their own money to take some trips, like you were mentioning, but it came out of their pocket, and they started spending money to try to promote the film on their own. And then when they found, like you said, when they found out, they were so mad because they had no idea, and like they there was no money, so they said, "All right, we'll pay for our trip to go to these cons," and they didn't get reimbursed for a lot of things, and and their heart was into it. And I think
Yeah.
that, you know, their character actors. Yeah, Ben looked wonky, but they tried with the budget. I mean, they tried to. They have, you know, they had that or the robot mask or whatever, so they did spend money on it, even though they got the look wrong. You know, they spent where they could, and Reed is laughable, but the heart of it in some ways is it's innocent and it's fun. It's almost like, you know, a high school production, but the actors, you know, really cared about it too. So I saw Claude put in something to chat a while ago where he was talking. He was at a party, and some of the assistants didn't know the FF had existed for years. So he said, why don't you use one of the old stories? And they gave him an ugly face.
They didn't know what a comic. They didn't know it was a comic book.
Yeah.
Muslim Uncle, what's up, buddy?
A Muslim Muckle with $1.99 super chat says, "Flame out on all the woke story garbaggio."
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Someone
sir.
else said, I think it was Fletcher. Flame on with the flag. Yes. Thank you so much, Muslim Uncle, for that $90.99 super chat. Guys, we're getting out of here. Thank you for being here and hanging out with us. Do not miss Clobberin Times. He's got a show coming up in like 45 minutes. And Classic, what are you doing?
Well, I'm working on a video right now. Hopefully I'll have it out tonight. There's a former DC editor, Valerie DeRazio. Clobby, do you know her name?
Yes, she's something. I like her.
She tweeted this. She put this tweet out where she talked about how there are some comic pros want the direct comic market to die. They don't want it anymore, and they want to get rid of it. So I did a video where I talk about that. And I'm working on my review of Godzilla -1, which will hopefully be out by Friday, if not sooner.
Cool.
Mark D with C.
All
You
right.
got anything you want to throw out?
Yeah, sure. Of course, we'll be on the Clubhouse tomorrow night with Clobberin Times and Raquel. I don't know if we're doing the standard reviews or
we got Blake 7
Christmas next week, I guess. And I'll be on with Retro Nerd Girl at 1 p.m. Eastern talking about holiday and Christmas music.
When?
So Friday, 12 p.m. or 1
Cool.
p.m. Eastern. Yep. So
Cool.
I'm a big fan of Christmas music. I bug my family. I listen to it too much, and they're like, "All right, turn it off now." So that'll be fun to be on with Retro Nerd Girl.
Yeah.
And of course, Sunday Night Geekery, Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Clobberin Times is always there. Pat S sometimes, and some of the gang hanging out, talking all the great things of the week, like Doctor Who. Oh no, I mean Godzilla -1. Yeah, Doctor Who's not good anymore.
See that yet?
I slipped. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but
man, get
maybe I'll
on
go
him.
this. I've been
You
too
need to go see
busy.
it.
All this work stuff. I'm still at work right now.
That's no excuse.
That's no excuse. Yeah, go see Godzilla now. My wife probably said, "Where the heck is Mark?" Yeah, but thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Clobby. Remind me, I got two things I got to show you, brother. One is in a authentic Deep Space Nine promotion poster.
Cool.
The other is a cardboard poster. It's a cardboard poster. It's not just. It's not like a just paper poster. It's a cardboard promotion poster for Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Absolutely cool. Everyone join me tonight for my 700th episode tonight, by the way. For YouTube anyway, 700, 1400th overall. So that's enough, about less than half hour, a little over half hour.
Congrats.
A little over half hour. Guys, everybody out there, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and caring enough to come by and hang out with us on the Comic Book Roundtable. You guys keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla, and we'll see you next week. Have a great one, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
Night, folks.
Find the button.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.